Let me be allowed to be cliche and use the phrase, the ghost of ICC has returned to haunt us as Kenyans. On the 2nd of November this week, lawyer Paul Gisheru surrendered himself to the Dutch authorities, who handed him over to the ICC the following day on the 3rd of November. A few days later, which is yesterday, 6th of November, he appeared before a judge of the ICC. Paul Gisheru has been wanted by the ICC, accused of interfering with the witnesses, bribing them, intimidating them, and maybe worse, in regards to the case against William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang, my friend. A warrant for his arrest and that of Bet, those warrants were issued in March of 2015. He has been on the run. Now that he has surrendered himself in what is clearly a bombshell, people in this country are asking, why? What is the implication? In mind, many people are saying, how will this affect William Samoei Ruto? But let's just say this. He's not the first person to surrender to the ICC. People have done that. But the question that people are asking, why now? Why at a time William Samoei Ruto appears to be at loggerheads with the President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, with whom he faced the ICC sometimes back? Why? But before we ask ourselves why, it's important to ask ourselves whether it has any bearing on William Samoei Ruto. The truth, and which we must say, is that this is not a laughing matter. For a person who intends to be president in 2022, if this bombshell indeed is going to turn out in the way and the manner in which many people suspect and others expect, then it is something that will really not only hinder his presidential ambitions of 2022, but will affect him as a person in a major way. When Uhuru and Ruto went through this thing, it was such a strain on them. But remember, they had state and the resources of state behind him. So this morning, I want to address myself to William Samoei Ruto and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and along the line, to Raila Amolo Odinga, to William Samoei Ruto. You have been looking at power in the eye. Power never likes people looking at it in the eye. And the power is patience. Power can take its time as they wait for you. Now, let us assume that this, as some people are expecting, comes from the state or from Uhuru. Then you can see the price of trying to poke your finger in his eye. But let's also assume, as I most likely think is the case, that this has nothing to do with the government. It has nothing to do with Uhuru Kenyatta. I know people will always try to pin things to people. When Uhuru and Ruto went to The Hague, people said it was Raila. And yet, in all honesty, no person in this country, not even President Kibaki, fought to have the ICC avoided, to have the cases heard in this country. Nobody fought for it more than Raila Odinga. Yet people on the side of Ruto believed it was Raila. There must have been a few excited people and overzealous people from the side of ODM who pushed for this. Just as there were people on the PNU side who pushed for William Ruto to get in. But Kibaki never did it. Raila never did. So this time, I don't suspect. I believe Uhuru has nothing to do with this. Why? Uhuru went through the ICC. He knows the pain of the ICC. I very much doubt, though he's a politician, and politicians have no feelings, but I very much doubt, having gone through this with William Ruto, he would visit it on any other person. William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta said, this should never happen to any other Kenyans. I doubt that Uhuru can be for it, but it has happened. So, if, as I think is the case, it is not the government, it's not Uhuru, who then could have done it? The man could have done it on his own volition. But how does this chokoraring government, how does this being in bad books with the president then come to haunt William Samoei Ruto? Because the government through Uhuru Kenyatta may just shrug his shoulders and say, well, let the law take its own course. And yet government can protect William Ruto if they come for him. If indeed they come for him out of these revelations from this lawyer. How? The government of the Republic of Kenya can put up a very strong case citing peace and saying, no, please, wacha kuchokora amani. We have been a peaceful people. We've been peaceful. Please don't return this thing. At the very worst, give it to us. The Rome Statute allows government to take over cases and try them if ICC is convinced they can do it. And therefore, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta can save William Ruto. But to the extent that William Ruto has been intransigent, has been, for lack of a stronger word, disrespectful, Uhuru may just say, okay, let the law take its own course. So that's why I advise people. And I've advised William Samoei Ruto. When you fight system, don't say tuko na God, tuko na ground, tuko na watu. Systems are ruthless. Systems are strong. When you need them to defend you, they may just refuse. Donald Trump now knows the meaning of system. He knows the meaning of deep state. The deep state, my friend, the roots go deep. To Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, I want to ask you to do everything within your powers. First of all, I believe you have nothing to do with this. Yet this thing has the potential of destroying your friend William Samoei Ruto. I ask you, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the President of the Republic of Kenya, I ask you to do everything within your power to save your friend, if it comes to that. Why? When Uhuru Kenyatta, you and William Samoei Ruto were at the ICC, we were all as Kenyans on trial. It was not a good experience for the country. When a man appears at the ICC, it is never just the man or the woman. I've never heard of a woman before anyway. It is a whole country. They make reference to Kenya, not to Paul Gisheru. The main person being mentioned is Kenya. We want to avoid that. We want to avoid that. So if there is anything you can do when this thing gets to that point, I wish it doesn't get to. You should stand up, stand firm as the President of Kenya and make sure this thing does not go in that direction. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because we are in a political field. Let it not be said, and perceptions are important, let it not be said you pushed your friend under the bus. That is not good for your record. It's not good for your legacy. It's not good for this country. And I must end by saying you do not need to subject William Ruto to that for you to have your way. I have always stated in public, I am sure the handshake is about changing this country. Pursue that path. BBI is a good idea through which you can salvage this country, change this country. Pursue that ideal. If the politics means you do not support William Ruto, I suspect you will not pursue that. But be strong on your own without capitalizing on what could happen to William Ruto. And that brings me to something I have always wanted to say. That it is lack of strategy on the part of Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta that seems to make Ruto appear to be a strong candidate. I am of the opinion that smart as William Samoei Ruto, intelligent as he is, shrewd as he is, hardworking as he is, generous as he is, easy to make friends as he is all those things. But he is no match. Read my lips. He is no match to the combined force of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Yet, some slackening, some being not so good in terms of strategy, makes Ruto appear to be having an upper hand. I call upon Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, if you want to defeat William Ruto, come up with strategy so that people do not now say you are using the ICC to fix him. Come up with proper strategy. Employ the right men. Employ the right women. Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. One of the reasons why Ruto seems to have an upper hand, he makes friends. He doesn't forget his friends. You two don't seem to make friends well. He's not a very rich man, yet he uses some of his resources. This morning I advised Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, do not approach this election, do not approach BBI as if it's child's play. This is a serious thing. It is for this country. You are up against also a tough guy. Do not appear to be also very unresourceful people. Employ the resources you have. The point I'm making this morning is simple. William Ruto, if he must be defeated, he must be defeated fair and square. He must lose in the BBI fight fair and square, and I have every confidence Raila and Ruto have what it takes to do that. In 2022, if it's your intention, the way I believe it is your intention, to defeat William Samoei Ruto and perhaps put Raila Odinga in power, I have no problem with that. Do it and let it be fair and square, because you have what it takes. You have the capacity. Mobilize your resources. Engage with the people. Stop this old habit, Raila Odinga, of all the time going to the same old suspects whenever you have an appointment to make. Whenever you need men and women to help you, you seem to be looking at a very short range. You don't see people beyond your circles. Look for intelligent men and women, because ahead of you there is a war, and it shouldn't be seen that this war is being fought in a manner to suggest that you are going to use underhand deals. And we must, as Kenyans, be made to see and to feel and to accept that Paul Gisheru is acting on his own, and that government has nothing to do with it, because Uhuru and Raila have the capacity to deal with Ruto. And more than that, I must repeat that should it come to the ICC trying to fix Ruto, Uhuru must be magnanimous, come out and fight for Ruto. But on the part of Ruto, you must now, going forward, be aware that you are stepping on dynamite. Remember what I've always said. Be careful as you handle the system. They can save you. They can fix you. In this instance, they are not fixing you, but they can save you. Look at what I've said in the past, William Samoei Ruto. Begin with the BBI. Call your brother Uhuru Kenyatta. Call your elder brother Raila Odinga. Sit down with them. And I'm not saying because you are chickening because of this Paul Gisheru thing. It is good strategy for you to begin by joining the BBI without giving conditions. Join BBI without conditions and find a way of working with these two gentlemen as you move into 2022. It's good for you. It's good for this country.